What's up, TNA fans? So this time I've decided to do this review a bit different because normally I would like literally read everything that was said on the show. I would paraphrase everything that was said on the show, but I've decided not to do it that way this time. This time I'm just gonna do it a little faster, just keep it short with short summaries of each segment. So I'm pretty much just gonna tell you how it went down in each segment, and when I get to a match, I'm just gonna tell you who won and how I felt about the match, so that way you don't get bored by me as well by paraphrasing literally everything that was said during the show, because sometimes there can be so much talking, which means I would have to do so much writing and read so much, and I know that can be really boring as fuck. So let's get on to it. So the show starts off with Matt Hardy coming out, right? Now this segment pretty much has to do with Matt Hardy bragging about how he wants Jeff Hardy out of his life, how he is basically the one worthy of having the Hardy name, and he wants Jeff Hardy to change his name because he's tired of Jeff Hardy this, Jeff Hardy that. He's tired of people thinking that Matt Hardy is in Jeff Hardy's shadow. So he wants to fight Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy pretty much accepted his challenge. So that was the first segment. The opening segment was a good opening segment because it wasn't a time filler or a waste of time. This segment had meaning because it led to a match, and we'll find out more later on the show what will happen. So after that, then we get a tag team match against Bromance, DK, EY, and Bram, and Beer Money. Because if you remember last week's show, uh, James Storm said anyone that wants to shot can come out and fight them. So that's basically what happened on tonight's show. All the tag teams came out and wrestled them. Um, I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a really good match. Everybody had his showing. Of course, James Storm, Bobby Roode, and EY are the better wrestlers among all of them. But who impressed me the most was Jesse Goddard, because this guy did for the first time a Hurricane Rana on Crazy Steve that was sitting on the turnbuckle, because you had to jump to get the Hurricane Rana, and Jesse Carter did that, and he did it really good too. Jesse Carter is getting really good with his work ethic in the ring. And then then there was a miscommunication during the match as well, because while Bram was holding James Storm, James Storm ran out of the way, so EY hit Bram. So of course, you know how things go down. I'm pretty sure they're gonna start a feud between the two. I don't know if it will come that far to that, if it will go that far, because we all know EY is technically not on the show anymore. So I don't know on which taping EY's last match is, and that goes for Bobby Roode as well. But we'll see, because if they plan on having those two feud together, then I'm pretty sure it won't be long. Like I said, I don't know how long EY or when his last match was, so we'll see how they'll do things. But Beer Money pretty much got the win and made them retain the titles. So I don't know how it will be next week, if maybe a new tag team will come in to face them. I don't know, but we'll have to see. But I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good match. And then we get a backstage segment with Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy pretty much coming to Jeff Hardy to tell him that their match next week is official, and that Matt Hardy will beat Jeff Hardy so hard that Jeff Hardy will quit, which made the match for next week an I Quit match. However, Jeff Hardy wants to fight Tyrus and Matt Hardy in a tag team match. So whoever wins that, if Matt Hardy wins, it's going to be he's gonna get his I Quit match. But if Jeff Hardy wins, it's gonna be a Full Metal Mayhem match. Jeff Hardy didn't say right away who his partner is going to be. We'll find out who it's going to be later on the show. Then we get another backstage segment. This one was real quick. It featured Maria Kelly. She pretty much just said that she's gonna go to the ring and say and address or say what she deserves. Then we get another backstage segment. We see Eddie Edwards got attacked. Um, if you've watched last week's show on how things went down between Shane Helms and Eddie Edwards, then I think it's pretty obvious that we know who attacked him. So yeah, later on the show we'll see what happens further. And then we get another segment in the ring. Maria Kanellis called out Jade, and she wanted Jade to hand her the title because she's the one. If you remember last week, she was actually the one that helped Jade win it by hitting Gail Kim with the title. So basically, she owes Maria Bennett, sorry, Kanellis Bennett's the same. But of course Jade refuses, and Maria keeps bragging on how she is the first lady of professional wrestling. I mean, how can you be a lady of professional wrestling if you don't even wrestle? By the way, her wrestling sucks. So, and this is pretty much the same thing she did when she was in Ring of Honor. She was just talking, talking, talking. So she's pretty much there simply because of Mike Bennett. Honestly, there's nothing special about Maria Canelli, to be honest. The only thing, she's just eye candy. Let me just put it like that. She's just eye candy, that's all. But she can't wrestle. She talks too much. She's a good talker though, but she just talks too much, and it can get a bit annoying though. So, but of course, all the knockouts then came out and had something to say to Maria Kanellis because she keeps on claiming how she is the leader and how she made the knockouts division what it is and this and that. So things started getting out of hand. So Billy Corgan came out and said that Jane will face Madison Rain for the knockouts title later tonight. And he also said that next week, all the knockouts will have to face each other to see who is going to, and the person that wins that match is going to be the leader of the knockouts. And during the match between Jade and Madison Rain, we also got to hear that that match will be a ladder match. So I'm pretty sure that it's maybe gonna be something like a contract that will be hanging, and whoever takes it is the leader. And I already have a big feeling who's going to win this. I think you know too. I mean, let's be honest. I honestly don't see Maria Kanellis actually wrestle. She's basically gonna take another shortcut or a cheap shot or whatever the hell. I can already see her winning the thing because they need her to actually do something in the show. Because or else why do you even have her around? And the fans are kind of noticing that, and they are acknowledging it too, and I think TNA knows that, which is why they're gonna have to do something with her, because or else they're gonna start to boo the fuck out of her and it's gonna get really bad. And of course, when that announcement was made, they started to brawl. And then we get a backstage segment um, with EC3. EC3 pretty much just had something to say to Mike Bennett before his match. And that's pretty much what that segment was about. Like I said, I'm not gonna paraphrase all the things that were said anymore. I'm just gonna keep it short. And then we go into the ring, and then we see Trevor Lee and Shane Hell standing in the ring because apparently Eddie Edwards was actually scheduled to wrestle Trevor Lee. So he then calls out anybody on the back who wants to wrestle because he says that no one has the guts or the courtesy and all of that like Trevor Lee or is afraid to face him. But then DJC comes out, and so pretty much DJC and Trevor Lee have a match. I think Trevor Lee didn't have his best showing in this match. DJC was actually the one that carried the whole match. He did a lot more moves. He wasn't sloppy. I think Trevor Lee, I don't know if he was tired or anything, but definitely not Trevor Lee his best showing. And the match felt rushed on as well. It was really short. I don't know. But DJC did his thing and also won by a roll up, and that was about it. So, and then after the match, of course, Shane Helms started to attack DJC, and then Eddie Edwards came out, and that was about it. So next week we'll get to see how things go further down. I'm pretty sure they are gonna start something with Shane Helms and Eddie Edwards, maybe a match together, which would be cool because how long haven't we seen Shane Helms wrestle? Like ever since his WWF days. I mean, I would love to see him wrestle again. So I would really like it if they have those two go at each other. That way Shane Helms actually has something to do in the ring as well instead of just only talking and backstage agency and that kind of stuff. So yeah, the match was okay. DJC has had its best showing in my opinion. And then we get a backstage segment with Mike Bennett now on us having something to say to EC3 before the match. And that was just about it. And then we get a backstage segment which featured Jeff Hardy, and in this segment we got to see who his partner is going to be, and that was none other than Drew Galloway's, because the reason why he chose Drew Galloway is because, you know, Jeff Hardy had Drew Galloway's back on last week's show, and Drew is wants to do the same for Jeff Hardy, and that's how this whole he chose Drew Galloway, so it all makes freaking sense. It all makes sense. And then we go to a match which featured Mike Bennett versus EC3. I think this will be the first time I'm gonna say this because I'm not an EC3 fan, but EC3 had a really good showing in this match. He actually was better than Mike Bennett, which technically, like I said in my last video, that Mike Bennett is a better wrestler than EC3. Believe me, if you watched Ring of Honor, you would say the same and think the same. But Mike Bennett didn't had a good showing in this match. He was, I don't know, he was acting kind of, he was rushing. He was rushing. He wasn't focused. But EC3 definitely had a good showing. I was impressed with his wrestling. He did a lot more moves than he usually normally does too. He also gets better at this, so I'm gotta give credit where credit is due, you know. But Mike wins by disqualification because EC3 started hitting him with a chair. How the chair got involved is because Maria Kanellis, you know, teased giving the chair to Mike Bennett, but Earl Hebner saw that. And this is funny because there was a botch in this fucking match. While Earl Hebner was trying to get the chair away from Maria Kanellis, EC3 like took the chair and like Earl just like literally flipped over. That was fucking funny to see, to watch. So that will definitely end up on Botchamania. I'm pretty sure of it. It was so fucking funny to see. But yeah, Mike Bennett wins by the disqualification. So next week we'll see again what will happen. See, and this is the thing about all of this. It all leads to next week. You know what will happen next week, and that sort of thing kind of keeps you going because you want to know what will happen next week, and it gets you exciting and ready for next week. You know. So all the talking, like I said, the talking in wrestling shows is good, but still keep it to a minimum, you know. But all the talking on tonight's show made sense, and it was for a purpose. It was no time filler. All of these segments where they talked wasn't time filler because they were all segments that led to something, whether it be tonight or for next week. So I actually appreciated the talking this time because you know how I feel about the talking on wrestling shows. But we get a backstage segment. Pretty much Al Snow saying that he's gonna go to the ring and apologize to Mahabali Shira and Grado. So we get to the ring and he calls out Shira. I'm just gonna call him Shira because these Punjabi names are kind of difficult sometimes to pronounce. But he calls out Shira, pretty much apologizing to him, telling him that he's sorry, that he's willing to help Grado and Shira become successful and take them under their tutorage and all of that. And they shook hands, but while they were going out of the ring, of course, we should have seen this coming, right? Al Snow attacks Shira. So again, we'll have to see what happens next week. See everything makes sense here. This whole show was just a build up. This all had to do with build ups for next week. So everything was for a purpose, and that is okay, and that is good. So that is what this segment was all about. So I'm guessing Shira will wrestle Al Snow, since he even mentioned that he missed the wrestling, he missed doing what he used to do back in the days and all of that. So I really want to see how this will end up. Because Al Snow already wrestled Grado, so I don't see any point of them going at it again. So I would love to see them doing it with Shira, because this guy does deserve a little bit more, even though Shira is a solid wrestler. He isn't all that great or all that good, but he's a solid wrestler. And as far as his talking go, the guy can really speak English, so you can't really blame him for being a bad talker or whatever. Because if you ask me, he's better talking than Roman Reigns will ever be. Yeah, that's a shot. So we finally get then we get to the match between Jade and Madison Rain. Um, this was another okay match. It wasn't the best match or a really all that good of a match, because I mean Madison Rain is an okay wrestler. I can't even say she's solid. There was a lot of technical wrestling in this match, though. Madison Rain has that in her. I've noticed she does a lot of technical wrestling, so that's good. That's good. But that still makes her just a solid wrestler. She isn't all that. She isn't someone that would give you that wow effect, like wow, holy shit, that was awesome. She doesn't really have that. Jade does have that, but ever since Jade has been in TNA and wrestled, she hasn't given her all. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know. But Jade can do a lot more. I've said this a couple of times. She can do a lot more than what she does, than what you see her do. I don't know why she gives it her all, but whatever. But Jade retains. The match was okay, and I don't know. When it comes to having a good match, it all depends on who is the better wrestler wrestling with. Who is he wrestling, because for an example, like Jade and Madison Rain isn't all that good, but Jade is. I would be pretty sure that if it was Gil Kim versus Jade, if it was a enough given time match, not a rushed match, it would be at least a 4-star match. At least a 4-star match. It all depends on who they wrestle. Who these good wrestlers wrestle, because sometimes they purposely put the bad wrestler with the good one just because the good wrestler needs to make the other wrestlers look good or teach them something or whatever. That's how it basically normally goes down. So after that, we get an announcement that Eddie Edwards, DJC, and Trevor Lee will have a triple threat match for the X Division champion. So that's another thing to look forward to for next week. And then we finally get to the match, the main event, which featured Drew Galloway, Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy and Tyrus. This was a good match, of course, simply because of Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy had his showing, but not too much. If you've noticed, if you've watched Matt Hardy carefully, you'll notice that I think he has problems with his knees, because the guy can barely stand up straight. He always struggles a little to get up. If you need to watch it, you will notice it. I think his legs are wobbly, or he has bad knees or something. But Drew Galloway had a good showing as well. Tyrus, nah, you already know how that went, how that guy wrestles. But Matt Hardy wins. I forgot. I think he won by distraction, if I believe. I don't know, but Matt Hardy won the match, so next week's match will be an I Quit match. Now I'm not sure if it's literally an I Quit match, that if one of them says I quit, that they literally, quit, gone from TNA. But if that is the case, I hope it isn't like literally a release thing, like as in gone from TNA. I just hope it's a storyline based gone thing. So I hope so, but we'll have to see next week. But after the match, Lashley came in and attacked Drew Galloway because, you know, now this whole feud with Drew Galloway and Lashley will start due to Drew being the champion now, and we all know Lashley wants to be that now, and how Lashley is hungry for the title and all of that. So we will definitely see a feud between those two. So that's pretty much about it. See how quick I've done it? No lots of reading and all of that shit because that bores the hell out of me. So I've quickened things up. But that was about it. It was overall a good show. Last week I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I'm gonna do the same for this show. I'm gonna keep it at a 7.5 out of 10. And yeah. Next week, I assume will be better because so much has been built up for next week that I just can't wait. Next week's show looks to be a better show than this week's. A lot of fighting, a lot of matches. That's good. That's good. I love that. I like that. So that's pretty much about it. If you've watched this video all the way to the end, thank you very much. Hit the like button if you like this review. If you did not, well, there is a dislike button, but of course I'm not gonna ask you to hit the dislike button, so, but that is about it. There's a rumor going around about TNA moving to a warehouse. Don't really know anything about that. I haven't looked into it either because I don't read dirt sheets, especially not the ones that have to do with TNA because almost every source says something negative about TNA, and that's the reason why I don't read anything that has to do with TNA when it comes from these reporters or journalists or whatever, because they always have something negative to say, but I don't know if it's true or not. If they move to a warehouse, if that is the case, I hope it isn't something permanently. I hope it's a temporarily thing, which I'm sure it is. I hope so. I just hope so. But does, if it is a permanent thing, then yeah, I don't know, man. Is it bad? Of course it's bad, but look on the other side. They are saving a lot more money, um, you know, on this warehouse than they do paying for the Orlando studio. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really like going into these sort of things because I am a loyal TNA fan. I'm gonna remain a TNA fan. I don't care if they go to a smaller garage or whatever the hell. I am gonna continue to buy TNA stuff. I am gonna continue to support the company because that is what a loyal fan, what a loyal person is. You stick with the person even through difficult time. So, I don't know, but we'll see. See you next week. Okay?